thing about Battlefield 4 is that there's just so many layers, so many things, and as you can see, we're going to jump right into the action. No need to wait, as you can actually see we're using the tabletop view, the spectator mode as well, which is something that has been highlighted quite heavily in our live streams, whether it was at E3 or even here at Gamescom. But there's just so much more to talk about. And of course, we're always going to be taking questions from you guys, the community, whether it's on Reddit, you can go to our Battlefield, or it's on Twitter, you can hit myself or Corey Dunn up. Corey is at considerate_Dunn. I am at GoldenBoyFTW. And you can also just sound off on the Twitch chat as well. We're seeing everything and anything, so that this way we can make sure that we are getting all the latest information that you guys want to know. Now, Corey, what are you taking a look at right now?
Yeah, so right now what we're paying attention to here to that game mode called Obliteration, and right now we're aboard here with Alpha 11. He's utilizing the attack boat. They just were able to take out that EMCOM point there for the Chinese. And so, again, just kind of looking out how effective the attack boat truly is. It's basically a tank on water.
Yeah, you have displayed to me the power of the attack boat numerous times now. It's ridiculous. It's such an effective, like, naval warfare is back. Like, it is just so good, and you can just tear people apart. If they're not careful, that you can really make them pay.
Again, you can just see how effective you can be here on the water. Let's go and take a look here and see where his score is sitting at right now. Just looking at the overall, currently 4-3, and so I guess we've watched all of his kills so far. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the overview and kind of get an idea of how Obliteration works. So basically, all of the bombs spawn points will be here on this main island. There are random points as well, so you never know exactly where the bomb is going to spawn. There are 3 MCOM points for both sides. There are 3 MCOM points here for the Russians, and there are 3 MCOM points here for the Chinese, one of which has already been taken out. Also, last thing I would like to mention as well is battle pickups are available at the same token. We can really dive down deep into what that means. Actually, perfectly, this is one of the battle pickups. Yeah, the battle pickups are pretty awesome, honestly. They really do change the, I guess, the way the game is played, and he might be able to nail the shot. No, he actually misses on that one. But yeah, like, the battle pickups, it's awesome because, like, as the veteran players, as the more hardcore players start to dive into Battlefield 4, this is going to be now a new objective for them to fight over, besides just the conquest flags or the obliteration objective, the bomb, or, you know, defending MCOMs. Now you got to go after those battle pickups too. So again, just adds that diversity and objective-based gameplay that people really do love in Battlefield. And on top of that, it's just awesome to use. So is he taking people apart? He's finally starting to be able to pick up some kills. One of the things to note too is you can look on the screen, you can see that he has a rangefinder, which has also zeroing capabilities. So basically he can look in the distance. If they're 300, 400 meters away, he can change that rangefinder so that it's set up so that he can say, okay, 400 distance, and the game will make the adjustment for him. Then, of course, you can have that on any other sniper rifle in your recon class as well. If you have a rangefinder, you can also do the variable zoom or have the variant zoom to be able to change out exactly what you want to happen.
Yeah, the variety there is certainly really cool. And see, for me, I'm not really a good sniper, and I know a lot of people are, you know, obviously going to call me a noob. Noob. Thanks, Corey. You make me feel so nice.
I'm always here for you.
Yeah, I'm just, like, not the biggest fan of sniping, but, you know, that rangefinder helped me out quite a bit when I was playing. I was able to pick off quite a few people with that. So it's cool, you know. I mean, I think it's just like another cool addition to the game, something I personally enjoy. You know, having come from Battlefield a little later than the rest of the other people may have. Like, I know we have a lot of veterans in this community. There are guys who've been here since 1942. There are other people who've, you know, popped in at Battlefield 2. I, on the other hand, have kind of come in a little late on it, but, you know, I'm starting to really dig, like, just all the little intricacies that the game has to offer.
Yeah, so one of the things that we just saw was the HUD popping up saying counterattack. I had been asked the question, have I been a part of that? I've actually been on both sides of it. I was able to get a counterattack, so someone tried to knife me from the side. The icon popped up. Dude. I sit there and was able to counterattack quickly and efficiently. The other thing is too, I dropped down in front of someone, went for the knife. They grabbed it and shoved it right back into the chest of the character. Yeah,
that's right. Oh, and I guess we should just talk about it since we ended the broadcast with it. Let's just talk about it now. We saw it in the chat. Let's just discuss it. Tier reloading. All right, so here is the, I'll explain it. Since you've explained it before, I'll explain it this time. I think I have a good grasp of it. So tier reloading is in Battlefield 4, but the way that it works is only when you deplenish your ammo completely from your gun, then you enter into the reloading animation. But if you opt to switch it over to your pistol, get the kill with that, hop back over to your primary, then the reload animation will complete. But if, let's say you shot your gun and you are gonna reload about, you know, after 20 or by like 10 bullets in, and you try to do that whole tier reloading thing, it will not work. The gun has to be completely out of ammo. The clip has to be completely out of ammo in order for you to do the tier reloading. So, and you actually are a pretty big fan of it.
Well, the reason why I'm a big fan of it is I was worried that tier reloading was going to be, I shot 15 bullets out of my clip. I then I realized there was no one around me. I had started to reload. Then all of a sudden someone popped up. I switched to my pistol. Now whenever I go back to my weapon that I knew that had ammo in it, then I had to finish this reload animation. So not only does I have to wait for my primary weapon to come back up, but I also have to wait for the ammo to get, the mag to get back into the clip. So with that being said, that's not the case. As soon as you switch back, so if you haven't depleted all your ammo out of the mag, then you don't have to worry about it finishing that animation. It just goes right back to the weapon, but you'll only have that set number of bullets left in your clip. Yeah,
it's pretty cool, and also it's going to be like a saving grace for a lot of support players out there that opt to use LMGs, because I know that that reload animation takes a while to complete, especially with just how the LMGs are made. So I hope that people like that. And let's see, he's going to try and go for this pickup here. He is able to get the sniper. And that's going to be the end of that round. But yeah, so tier reloading back in the game, or in the game. And
now as well, because we've got
jump into the action. I actually want to talk about the PlayStation 4 and my time with it, because I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but I had an opportunity to play Battlefield 4 on PlayStation 4 on the next-gen consoles. It was glorious, and it was awesome. We were playing, obviously, using the PlayStation 4 controller. Just so you guys are aware, the controller feels great and works amazing with Battlefield. If you are a Battlefield player and Battlefield 3 player, or you just play shooters on PS3, you are going to have to adjust a little bit to the default control setting, which is going to be the L2 R2, which is what you'll more commonly see on like Xbox, right, where you shoot with the triggers. So PS4 has triggers now, and you can basically shoot with that. The other thing too to keep in mind is that is not like it, right? You can actually switch it off. I was talking with a couple of guys earlier. They said that they will have the classic mode, or the classic configuration for the PS3 users, because they know that that's something that you guys dig. So again, it took getting used to for me as well, because as soon as I grabbed the controller, I was like, oh, shoot with the L1R1. No, I'm throwing grenades and calling people out. Why is this a thing? Like it was a little troublesome there at first, but I ended up getting it. And I also played the domination mode as well, which was really fun.
Well, that actually just kind of talking about the gameplay, you've got the bomb carrier. Someone spawned on him while he was on this jet ski and actually became a meat shield, basically defended any bullets that was coming through and allowed him to continue his quest here towards this point.
Yeah, actually,
that was pretty awesome.
I don't know if there's anyone there either. It doesn't seem like it. No, he is going to actually be clear to.
Of course, I don't believe his teammate knew that he was about to just hop right in and then immediately get taken out. But
yeah,
just a part of the game.
Yeah, pretty awesome stuff. There's actually a boat moving in too. Bravo 11 is going to try and see if he can stop this. This plant, but he gets stopped right away. So that's not going to happen. Alpha's going to be able to get this objective. That is going to be the B objective, and they nail that. So yeah, so basically just to continue to clarify on the PlayStation 4, Domination was, if you bring up the map there, Corey, Domination was actually played on the main island there, and the B portion of it, so basically it was like A, B, and C, as you would expect in a 3-plot game. And the B domination point was like right smack dab in the middle where the buildings are. That's where the domination point was. And then the other one, the A, was actually a little bit farther out, I think toward like the radio tower. And then C was more toward the beach. It was a very fast pace. And also, for those of you guys who like that, the details, the spawn system was dynamic. So there was no bases to spawn in. So you basically you could control spawns if a team of 5 is good enough. You could control spawns in such a way that you know, it's actually a pretty awesome competitive game type, and I totally get why Zinto wants to make that like the premier competitive game type, because it's really fun to watch. And with the battle pickups, it really creates that mobility as well. Like, you have to move. You can't just stay complacent and be like, all right, I'm going to stay in this building. You have to move, because if you don't, then you're going to miss that opportunity to get a battle pickup. Lots of cool stuff there, guys. I know it was a lot of information to dissect, but you know, just so you know, it's awesome. I know you guys are excited to play it. I'm going to pre-order mine as soon as I get my PS4, if I ever am able to get one. And yeah, just some info on consoles there. Next-gen consoles, by the way.
All right, as we take a look here, hopping into the game, just talking about Bravo 5 right now. He spotted the bomb carrier. One of the things to note there as well here for Obliteration, the bomb is always identified on the map whenever it's available. So meaning whenever it spawns, it will always be an icon on the map. You'll see it here just like this. You can pull it up on yourself, in game. Then you also will see it in the mini map in the lower left-hand side of your screen as well. Also, one of the things that have been getting a lot of questions about is having the capability of customizing your HUD. One of the things, there are different little things that you can tweak here and there, but also the main thing I think that's great is HUD scaling. So you have the capability of making your HUD smaller and smaller so you can have as much view as possible.
Wow, actually, I didn't know that. I didn't. I usually leave everything default because it doesn't bother me all that much. The way it's designed is pretty okay, and plus I'm blind, so I need to see that mini map as best as I possibly can. That's good to know. That's good to know there. No word yet on whether that's available on consoles, because I didn't get a chance to do that. I was just running through the game and just destroying people, so I'm not entirely sure. I really should have probably looked. I thought I was going to get more chances to play, guys, and I was so sad when I didn't get a chance to play again. But it was very fun. Also, someone asking about the consoles, about the graphics. Let me tell you this right now, guys. Those visuals were amazing. What you're seeing here is what I had on PS4. So anyone that's like arguing about PC versus console, I mean, I know that there's a lot of PC guys out there and they love their PCs. Do it, you know, love what you love. But the console definitely stacked up very well, at least on PS4 when I played it for the session I had. It was awesome.
Just kind of taking a look here again, you can see that the Chinese have lost their B point. We saw that earlier in the game. And we'll continue to kind of look over different types of elements, different questions that we've received, some of the things that I haven't seen yet. For instance, will there be sea mines? So basically, again, you're able to place out landmines and everything. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to see some sea mines, or see some little buoys that are out there just floating, waiting for boats to be able to rush over them?
Yeah, and you know, I've been using a lot of the tools of the engineering, which was, I want to talk about it because I saw someone actually just mention on my Twitter timeline, the slug. Was something that someone had asked about me. I believe it's the M2 slug. It's pretty much been my go-to tank destroying weapon at this point. I just tossed down a couple slugs that, like, I tossed like 1 or 2. It would have to take at least 2 to take down a tank with the slug, though. You have to place them. You have to place them well. Unless like you get it right at the back of the tank, then I think I hit the tank with 1. But yeah, there's just some things there that were pretty cool there. I saw someone who was like, Golden, try the slugs, fell in love with it. So if you have anything else you guys want me to try or want Corey to try, we're gonna be playing a lot today. Just let us know.
All right, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead, and while we wait for more questions to kind of roll in, let's go ahead and talk about what we're seeing here and kind of give a little taste of competitive gaming, as right now you're on board here with Bravo 1. Bravo 1 able to pick up a headshot on that gunner on the attack boat, as he does have cover fire there on his attack boat, on his squad's attack boat, as right now the bomb carrier is going to start to work his way over there towards the other side right now. Yeah, and just want to clarify, I had a brain fart moment there, guys. I meant the slam, not the slug. The slug was a shotgun. I used the slug as well. And I'm not a shotgun fan. The M2 slam.
M2 slam. Yeah, you should have corrected me, Corey. That's just messed up. You're not a good friend.
You kept saying slug. You never said M2 slug to me.
Into it, and we'll see just what we've managed to get in the game one.
And of course, I mean, community feedback is always like a super important thing for you guys. These broadcasts wouldn't happen if it wasn't for what you guys are doing. So let's hop into the action here, and you can actually see that no players have actually joined at this point in time, but we can, you know, get the nice little pretty view of the map here and just look around, of course, while I go ahead and continue to ask more questions of Frederick here. So now the other plan here, the whole server system that you guys put in Battlefield 3, right, for consoles, is that something you guys plan to bring back again, or is it just PC right now at launch and then your guys, your own servers at the launch of the next show?
We're aiming to have the same basic setup with your own servers that we had on the F3, basically. Okay. So no, we won't be looking to restrict it to PC only. Okay. As I said, I mean, everything can always happen, but the plan is to be able to support every platform that we launch on. Every platform evenly. Awesome. Now, going to the other platforms, I want to talk about the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. Right, I had a chance to play the PlayStation 4 version, Domination, today. It was the other day. It was awesome. But I was too busy killing people to notice what the clickable touchpad was for. Is there, do you know, would you happen to know like what that's for? Because I've been getting asked that a lot. As far as the PS4 controller is concerned, I really don't know. Okay, it's fine. I've held it myself and I've realized, okay, this button does this in our game, but outside of that, I have no idea. Okay, it makes perfect. I mean, I totally understand. I mean, you know, the DICE team is so big that like everyone's working on so many different things. So I get it. I completely understand. Okay, so now here's something I want to talk about. Let's talk about some like details here. Oh, before I do that, let me go ahead and ask this. I've been getting asked this a million times, so I'm just going to see if you know anything about it. The dog tag comp now, as we have some more Obliteration gameplay for you fine people back at home, and you know, looking here at the chat and Twitter and Reddit and everything. I mean, you guys have been asking us so many questions, and obviously we cannot catch them all, but we're doing our absolute best to make sure that we have as many questions answered as possible, and I hope that's okay with you guys. You know, I mean, there's a lot of information in Battlefield 4. It's just not enough time to dissect it all.
I was laughing to that too. I was chuckling.
They gotta catch them all.
Yep, I thought that was good.
You had to do that.
It was good. It was good.
You had to do it. You just couldn't.
I couldn't let it go.
Couldn't let it go.
Well, right. You wouldn't expect anything else.
I wouldn't, not from you. So, yep, and I'm really sorry about that dog tag competition stuff, guys. I've been getting asked that so much, but a lot of the guys here have been working directly on the game, not necessarily in that area. So, you know, again, when information will come out with that, when it's ready, when it's good and ready, sorry, you know, there's not much more I could really say about that here, but in any case, so what do you want to talk about, Corey?
Also talking in terms of something that we can't answer at this moment is PC specs. Those usually aren't figured out until right before the release. So there's they don't determine, this is for any game that's out there. So you can come up with recommendations, what the minimum requirements may be, just all of these different variations. But in the end of it all, the game hasn't been fully completed yet. So how do you spec a PC properly whenever you don't know what the true outcome, what the final product is going to be?
Yeah, I mean that.
There you go.
Exactly. It's we know as much as what's being presented to us here as hosts, but on top of that, DICE themselves, again, you see it right at the top left of your screen, alpha. This game is still being worked on. All the details.
We're getting close to beta. It's just, again, the fact that this game is, by theory, is not what most developers would say is their game's not polished until they really start to get into the later beta phases right before the release. But look at this game. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I mean, the fact that we got back to our blue tent, we'll kind of talk to Linnea about this, just about how the game looks, the visuals, the reason why you would go with certain visuals opposed to others. And I'm going to ask her some really, you know, the difference between artwork and gameplay and where those two really do collide between the two. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, the cool thing about what we're seeing here with
with Battlefield 4 is that they're doing their absolute best to make sure that when you hop into the game, you're feeling the diversity, you're seeing the diversity. And by the way, this attack boat, the fact he hasn't killed everyone on this beach yet is beyond me. Okay, there we go. He's getting there. He's getting there. Okay, he didn't. But there goes his teammates. I mean, man, that attack boat is just vicious. I have no other words to explain it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see who currently is one of the top players right now that we're on board with Bravo 2. He's sitting at 10-1. So it just kind of tells you exactly, now he's 11-1. He'll just continue to rack up the kills. One of the things too is whenever you have 2 gunners on the attack boat at the same time, it is so incredibly effective because then you've got these 3 different 50 cals, or basically here you have the 25 millimeter shooting here from your main attack boat. But then you have the 50 cals, the machine guns there on the side just going at it.
Yep.
And
you can really tear people up.
You can take out another attack boat so quick.
Yeah.
So
with good positioning as well. And the other cool thing was the storm, right? Because the storm, when the water and the waves get very aggressive, you could use that as cover for your boat.
He's playing this really, really well because if you look at it, the waves out here outside are very treacherous. I mean, we can look at it from different angles, but inside the island, you're going to notice that it's calmer. There's still waves, there's still a little bit dynamic there, but really you have to worry about it. So when the storm kicks in and you want to bob and weave and hide and try to get away from helicopters or the opposition, any type of attack boats, you go to the ocean.
Yeah.
And you get away, you use those waves, you ride the waves, you hide in the trenches of those waves, trying to be able to get away. So we'll kind of look at that exactly and show you. So you can see here in the inside, and take a look here at these waves. You see how they're rolling. There is some waves there, but then you look out here and look how deep. I mean, I'd almost use the term canyons of how deep these will get at times. So there's been a moment too, which is actually kind of awesome. So you see how this water takes over the ship for a moment. I've actually taken my attack boat right over this point. I rode this wave at the same height here the entire time, stayed at the highest point, and rode the wave over the ship at that point. One of the things I was worried about is that I was going to get stuck on it, but we still, just all of these different types of capabilities, that's really possible here.
That's pretty sick. I had no idea that you did that. So
only Battlefield, man. There's so many different things that I've had the capability, the chances to do by playing here in this game, and some of it is those questions, what if?
Yeah.
Is this possible? We try it, and one of the first things that Frederick and I, actually it's kind of funny, so Frederick and I, we had a moment, we took a moment, and there's basketballs that are on the basketball court, and we were curious, even Frederick was curious, can we move them?
Yeah.
And so we spent 45 minutes moving basketballs to the water to see if they float.
Yeah.
For those of you that are wondering, currently they don't float.
Yeah, they're like rocks.
They're basically painted bowling balls.
Yeah, and I mean, and you were shooting them too, which is the funny part. So you were shooting these basketballs, they weren't blowing up, and they had like black, like paint underneath it, and you're like, yeah, they're bowling balls. They're lying.
Well, one of the things that was funny about this too, and we'll get off this topic, is that we created a meta game from it. So we were trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to use this much ammo. It's all client side as well. This portion of it, the basketballs on the court, are client side, but I could shoot it. I could shoot the same basketball that Frederick sees, even though I don't see it. And so we're creating this like whole meta game. Okay, you attack, I'll look where your last bullet went, then I'll shoot that same area and watch third person. It's ridiculous. That's enough. We'll stop talking about basketballs in Battlefield 4.
It was awesome though. It was awesome. That's just what you can do, you know? All right, well, let's see here. Let's get off of this attack, folks. I know how much you're in love with these people.
All right.
And let's see if we can find some support gameplay here.
Some support?
Yeah, some support gameplay. I know a lot of people have been asking about the support equipment that you guys could use here. Let me see if I can actually find everything real quick. So, hopping into support gadgets real quick. The gadgets that you have available on support are the XM25 Air Burst, Smoke, Dart, Ammo Pack. You also have the Ammo Box, Claymore, C4 Explosive, M224 Mortar, and the MP-APS. Now the MP-APS, basically, it's once placed on the ground, you'll start sensing for incoming grenade, rockets, and missile threats. When a threat is detected, it will take it together with any of the rechargeable vehicles. I was reading it right there.
So again,
so players are already geared up, so let's go ahead and jump right into the action so we can see what is going on here, because of course Conquest is awesome, so let's go ahead and have some fun.
As we'll go ahead and take a look here, for those of you that this is your first time to see Conquest, your A point or docks is up here. You've got your main island here for B, that B point, C point over here, D over here, and then out here in the distance is the lonely shipwreck.
We spoke about E. You and I had like this discussion about E, and I'm like all infantry, man. And I know you like to use that boat, but how can you cap E? Do you have to be on E to capture it, or can I sail around on a boat or float around on a boat or my jet ski?
That's actually an interesting point. So you can be close to it. You don't actually have to be on it. So one of the things too to bring up that I pulled off is, so the A dockyard point is actually accessible right here. So if I was in the water right here, I could actually cap this point. And so one of the things that I was doing is I was actually going under the water. I was diving in under the water, and I was watching that it start to be able to take over that point.
Yeah.
And then once I started to see that how long I was starting to get hurt, I popped back up, and then right whenever I kind of
reclaimed yourself,
I went back under. And then I
Nice.
basically took that point by staying under the water the entire time. So that's just, again, another feature to add in to the meta game for Battlefield 4.
Yeah, I like to mainly stay on the islands. I've really not had many battles on E, and there you can actually see some jet gameplay. And this is the Russian jet, if I'm correct.
I'll take a look here at the third person.
Yes, this is.
He calls it his transport vehicle.
Yeah. Not using it as an effective tool. See, I'm not a fan of that, man. Like, I get that you want to go after the objective. I get that you want to try and capture it, but man, you're in a jet. You're in one of the most powerful tools in the game. Stay in it and destroy some people, but maybe he's not that, well equipped with the jet, but when you're going out there all by yourself, I don't know. That irks me. That irks me, dude.
Well, now,
Alpha 21, you irk me, bro.
Now that makes sense why the community wants two-person jets, and so they can transport two people in a jet so they can get to those locations quicker.
Yeah, and again, it's cool. I get the reasoning behind it, but the jet itself. But the jet itself, again, we see more jet gameplay here. Awesome. It's a tool of destruction. We have the Su-50 here. This is the Russian jet. And if I'm correct, the American jet is the F-22 Raptor.
That is correct.
Which a bunch of people have been asking about that, and just wanted to let you guys know that yes, the F-22 Raptor is, in fact, in the game. And I can only imagine that it's awesome.
So we're taking a look here at this perspective.
Do you have a camo on the jet, by the way?
No, I do not believe.
No Eastern Turtle?
No Eastern Turtle, no Firefighter, no PLA. Oh, he actually does. I take that back.
He does.
I just haven't seen this one yet. It's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, for the jet, it looks pretty nice. It's awesome. Yeah, the fact that you can put the camos on the vehicles, it's awesome. I love that, man. Just fly around the sky in an orange jet. It's like, yeah, buddy. I don't care. Find me. Just fight me, bro. It's awesome. And I know a lot of people in the chat were agreeing with me. Y'all are awesome. That's right. So more jet gameplay here. He's not really going after anything, though. Actually, there is going to be that AC-130 in the air, so it seems like he's going to go after that. Want to tell a tale here of awesomeness on my end. I was able to destroy an AC-130 with my IGLA. I felt amazing.
You stayed locked on, huh?
I was there, man. I was like, like for as long as I possibly could. I had like I hit him 3 times with the IGLA. I had to pace
you were impressing me though, watching you with the IGLA too. Whenever you were tracking one of a very agile helicopter that was flying around. I mean, he was in a little bird. He was just moving around.
Yeah.
And you're able to stay locked on. And you picked him off pretty good. So again, the IGLA is very effective. And yeah, we can see that this jet gameplay.
No, see, the thing about the IGLA was, oh man, it happens to the best of us. So the IGLA, right? Someone on Twitter actually, one of the a member of the Battlefield community reached out to me and was like, "Do you know anything about the IGLA?" Right? And I was like calling it the Igla or whatever, and I still call it the Igla because it's funny, but. I was like, I don't even know what this is. And when I picked up the IGLA for the first time and I started to use it, I had no idea what I was doing because I really don't use those kinds of things. I was like, do I shoot? Like, how does this work? Is this like an infantry rocket?
Hey, yo, bro, vehicles only.
Vehicles only, or air vehicles only.
Yep.
And now that I know that, I'm really happy because it pretty much has just been like my go-to. I throw down my M2 slugs or the slams as I've got. I throw down the M2 slams, you know, to take care of tanks, and then I use the IGLA to take care of anything in the air. Works out pretty well for me. And the thing about Paracell Storm though is that you're going to want to carry a launcher that deals mainly with anti-air, because I feel like I haven't had many opportunities to go after boats yet, and there's only like 1 or 2 tanks on this map, so it's not that effective. But I can only imagine on Siege of Shanghai how awesome the slams would be, just throwing them down all over the place and just taking care of business with that.
Yeah, one of the other things that we have been looking at is the mortar.
I won't lie, I am not entirely sure on how it functions.
You need basically a tutorial.
Yeah.
Of how to properly use. I actually, every time I use the mortar, I almost end up taking out myself.
Yeah.
As again, the way that it works, and that you're curious, it is something that you can walk away from it with a portable device.
Yeah.
And you can trigger it that way. So yes, it does reload itself. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. But I didn't see how the camera worked. Like, I mean, to be able to hit the targets. When you're doing your interview, I'm actually going to go and try out some mortar gameplay just so I can get the lowdown on how it functions, because I'm curious. I'm going to ask some of the DICE guys around here. So like, hey, how do I use this, just so I can relay it to you guys back at home? But yes. So what are you taking a look at here, Corey? We have, what is this, some SCAR gameplay?
So we've got Bravo 27. You can kind of look here. He will get taken down. And so back over here
to a beach boat.
Yep, a beach attack boat. It's kind of been interesting. What happens is sometimes whenever you beach an attack boat, as you notice that you can take a jet ski to exit out quickly. But when you beach an attack boat with the back end further up on the beach,
yeah,
and then you exit out of the vehicle to hop onto your jet ski, then you beach your jet ski immediately.
Yeah.
And then if your teammates are also there as well, then you can also beach that jet ski. So then you end up stacking jet skis on top of each other.
Pretty funny.
It cracks me up.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
See how much height he got? You can't beach the jet ski on this the shipwreck here.
Yeah, well, this guy, he's going to be able to make his way up top on, and of course, this is E, right? Yeah, so this is E shipwreck. He is going to have, oh, okay. I was like, what is going on here? Is that helicopter going to kill him? And it turned out to be a friendly. We had a pretty cool battlefield moment like that just a little while ago. So what happened with me and Corey playing side by side, he dropped me off over at D. I went to D. I went to go and cap that, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna land and then I'm gonna, get you. But he was kind of coming a little too hot on that one. He was going a little fast. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna jump into it and see if it works. And I jumped up, and then I caught the helicopter. I was able to get right into it, and then we just proceeded our awesomeness. It was totally sweet. So
I love it. It's just, but those are just battlefield moments, just doing it over and over and over and over and over again.
This is actually a pretty good question here that DK Joel asked. He says, do you keep the pilot skin if you jump out of the helicopter and the jet?
So whenever you spawn into one of those vehicles, it is in your it's your skin, it's your camo. But then after that point, you've now used it. Whenever you drive it around the map and you leave it, so say you beach.
Yeah.
You beach your attack boat, or you land your helicopter in the distance away from its spawn point, then it will stay that same skin, that same camo. Whenever another player hops in, it is still your same camo, it is still your same skin as well.
Okay, so it stays that way.
It's only when you spawn in the vehicle.
Okay, but if I hop into it from land, it's not going to change.
It's not your vehicle.
All right, well, that's good. That's good. And let's see. Hopefully, that answers your question. And if you have any more questions like that, feel free to let us know. Right now, we're taking a look at some tank gameplay now, which is not something you get to see all the time. This is a little
anti-air.
Yeah, this is the Chinese tank, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is going to be the Tunguska, which I have now learned the pronunciation of, and I'm really happy about.
You've done so well.
I'm just trying for the battlefield people.
And one of the things is that he's actually just using it to just gun down players instead of using it for anything that's in the air. Let's go take a look and see if there is anything in the air. It looks like there isn't. We see a gunship here. We also see drones, a UAV scan that's happening around the sea point.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the UAV scans. Someone like earlier in the day had asked me if if you could shoot down the UAV with like anti-air explosives. I have not been able to. I could be doing it wrong, but I have not been able to. Have you been able to shoot down UAVs?
I don't believe so.
They fly pretty high.
I don't think that you can actually shoot them down. I think they're just there. They're little drones. They actually clip around as well, so they're on a cycle. They're not real. I don't believe they're actually there per se. They're visual, but I don't believe they're physical.
Yeah. So there we go. Some clarification, I hope, in regards to that, indeed. And I'm going to go ahead and look at my Twitter, make sure I'm not missing anything on there, too, any new questions that you guys may have. In regards to the game, what's going on screen right now, we are going to have another interview coming up here in a little bit, too. So don't go anywhere. We're going to actually be talking about the map design and whatnot in a little bit. So hopefully that is something that you guys are interested in. Now, hopping on board here to, what is this? What do we got here? What player is this? This is actually Alpha 22. He's going to be tearing it up here as his gun is equipped with some attachments. I'm loving it. What's he using here? The 338 Recon with a tri-beam laser standard barrel. And a JGM4, a 4x scope. I don't know about that beam laser on that.
I would definitely do a straight pull. So that way you can sit there and just reload while you're scoped in. I actually learned something here. Oh, he's got the bipod.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
So one of the things that I thought was interesting is you have the capability, whenever you have the straight pull, to always stay scoped in. So you'll see basically another bullet get loaded into the chamber from there. Normally what you have to do is you have to unscope, cock it, and then go right back to scoping in. With the straight pull, you can always scope in, so you can shoot as many shots as you need to. For me, I need 5 or 6 just to kill one enemy.
Yeah, and
not really. It's something I should say.
Yeah,
that's not the case. I usually headshot.
Yeah, well, I do want to point out that the guy we were just watching, he kept on missing, man. You got to go over there and give him some lessons, Corey.
If I miss my first shot, I usually miss 3 or 4 to follow. But that's if I miss my first shot.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Let's take a look here and see what other players that we can find here that you want to follow. So we've seen some recon, we've seen some assault. We've definitely seen a lot of assault. Let's hop on board here with one of these engineers. He's going to get taken out. Now back over to a support player.
Always got to see the support guys, but he probably has not spawned in yet, so.
We'll hop on with this support player now. We've seen Bravo 27 before. Let's take a look here and see Bravo 25. Let's see exactly what he's got.
Bravo 25, okay. He's actually using a P90 if I'm correct. P90, no attachments. Doesn't seem like he has, he only has standard barrel iron sights on that one. You know, I've used the P90 a couple times. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Its hip fire is pretty awesome. You know, it's effective as you would expect with a P90, but I don't know, man, there's something about it that is just not working with me. I've been right now using the PP2000, I've been saying all week long, but the recent, and the UMP45 has been another really cool PDW SMG that I've been using, but the MX4 was something that just really impressed me as a PDW. So for any of you PDW or SMG users out there, you guys are gonna love that. Do it.
Those are my dog tags. Nice. He rips them off there. So Bravo 25, showing to be an effective player, understanding the way that this game truly works here.
That's right. And there you have it. That's going to be the end of that game. So GG's all around, all the players in here.
Every single game, as we take a look here, just kind of watching one of the players as we start to filter in. We're just going to kind of look at Obliteration for one last time here as we hop into the game. And you know, one of the great things is, you know, like I said, I mentioned to Patrick as well as Lars, is just how you just want to play. It's just that social environment. It's just the network of gamers.
Yeah, definitely. And now that we're able to support 64 players on Gen 4, like I've always been a console gamer when it comes to FPSs, but I love my Battlefield, so I always have to sit down on a PC to get the most out of it with 64 players. But now I feel like I can come home at the end of the day, sit on a couch, and play with a ton of my friends in different squads and really get the most out of the game, that big, epic Battlefield moment every single time. And that's something that I really think is going to come together, especially on the map like this, on such a large map with the naval warfare and the amphibious vehicles. I think it's really going to start to come together.
Yeah, so also, as we just kind of take a look here, again, you're a level designer here for Battlefield 4. What are some of the different things that we can say that you have influences on directly here to this map in particular?
Well, I would say that the multiplayer team has been working really hard on this map to make sure that it highlights the amphibious warfare while still allowing infantry and other vehicles to play a big part. So if you want to run around with a gun and want to shoot, you still have cover, you're still able to take down buildings with big missiles, you're still able to experience destruction, take cover, and get from island to island and achieve your objective and work with your team. If you're more of like a vehicle type person, you can experience the boats, but you can't necessarily completely dominate with just the boats. So you need both sides of that coin. Alternatively, you also have the helicopter, which seems to be a pretty popular choice on this map, I've noticed, where you're able to get from island to island very quickly while still being able to keep a good eye on what's going on with the different bases.
So one of the things that I have to ask as being a competitive gamer, I really always look at the contrast between the player and his background. Are these types of things really, are these taken into consideration as well?
Yeah, so we give the players all this option when it comes to the type of camouflage that they want to use. And we have a type of camouflage in the game, which is one of my favorites, which is the class of camouflage called dynamic. And that will actually change with your environment. So if you're in a forest environment, it'll be more green. If you're in a naval environment, it'll be blue. It'll be suited to whatever level you're on, and it still has all the cool shapes, all the cool designs that you're used to seeing in all the other camouflages. So now, your Eastern Turtle also comes in a dynamic turtle.
That's what I like to hear. Again, some of the other different quick camos that I really think that are awesome that I have to mention, like we've talked about numerous times now, the Eastern Turtle, still one of my top favorites. The PLA Digital is another one that I'm a huge fan of.
That one's pretty cool. My favorite is the Relish, actually.
The Relish?
Yeah, it's a type of digital camo, but it looks really cool the way that the tiny little dots work together. And it kind of makes the guns look really modern, but still have this sort of classic forest feel.
We're kind of taking a look here and seeing that the bomb...
So here you can see a lot of our new vegetation that we've really focused on this time with Battlefield 4. We really wanted to revamp a lot of our core systems that we're known for. The water tech really came in, and that's been wonderful to see growing and lending a strong support to this map. But of course we needed to look at our famous terrain system, making sure that that's still the top of the line, and making sure that that works with our vegetation. So if you look, you can see individual blades of leaves and grass, and all of our destruction on the trees is much more dynamic and much more detailed now than ever before. So you can tell that when you're running into a tree with a helicopter or a vehicle, it's going to destroy and fall apart the way that you'd expect.
Right, so each one of these trees right here as well, I've seen them myself getting basically sawed off by a machine gun.
I actually saw a player run into a tree with an ATV, one of the four-wheel drives there, and the tree fell over and crushed an enemy player. It was really cool.
Yeah, come on now, you're pulling my leg. That can't happen.
It was really neat, and I think that the way that the collision works on the trees is a much more intuitive way than it was in Battlefield 3. Now it makes more sense what happens. Here we see somebody in the helicopter, which it's really great to see people be able to use the helicopter in this big open map because it features such a lush environment while still providing cover for people in the areas like the jungle and like the trenches.
Really, no, and I agree with every point that you just made, because whenever I try to fly around here, it's difficult to actually spot the enemy through all of the different trees that are there. Some of the, I mean, they really do provide cover. Now, they provide visual cover.
Exactly, so which is why it makes for a great gameplay mechanic. You can't necessarily see them as well, but if you're friend spots them, if they're on the map, then you'll be able to know where they are. You can kind of guess, but it's a strategic sort of soft cover, and that's the same with a lot of our new pieces of destruction. Like we have a lot of more specific wooden destruction pieces and concrete with micro destruction. So the micro destruction chips away slowly as you're behind it. So you find that when you're taking cover behind objects and somebody's still shooting at you, eventually this cover isn't so useful anymore and you're still taking damage. So you better run and find something new. And it's a really interesting way to see people constantly moving around the map, never quite knowing if they're entirely safe or not.
There's a PLA digital on that attack boat over there. But also, one of the things I want to ask you a question about is just the thought process that goes
Oh,
into...
nice, roadkill.
Oh, wow.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was awesome.
So when we look at some of the other maps, on Paracell Storm, the weather changes. It gets darker, as we're about to see here in just a moment. You see that initial lightning strike. Then you start to see the storm really start to pick up. You start to see the actual trees as well start to move here.
I think one of the strengths that we are noticing from the Frostbite 3 engine is the way that we can dynamically affect the lighting, the weather, all of the systems that are tied in together. And that's something that we've only been able to achieve really in a strong way using Frostbite 3. We've started here with this map wanting to show this going from a pristine environment to a very stormy one, but it doesn't always happen that way on all maps or all modes. Sometimes it goes from something that's darker to a sunrise. Sometimes it has, again, like floods or some sort of rain effect, and sometimes it has the opposite. It clears up after a time and the sun comes out and you feel like it's a much calmer experience. This time we wanted to show, again, the waves getting larger, so you really felt like that was a strategic element.
Again, I'll just kind of show you how deep these waves really get here. I'll try to find the bottom of one of these waves.
And that's one of the things, these waves are synced on the servers so that every single player sees exactly the same waves in the same places, which is what makes it such a great gameplay element. And that's something that, again, we haven't had until Frostbite 3. And that's something that I think is definitely pushing the industry as a whole forward into trying to get everything to work together so that all the players can really use all these elements to their advantage.
Yeah, so again, one of the things we actually saw the initial, whenever this this turbine actually got struck by lightning, and you can see that now things are starting to pick up. There's also this weak support point that you can hit as well to kind of trigger the event. Mostly though, it's also here, for this case, it's also timed right now. They're still in the thought process of which way you want to go, whether it's a timed event or a
Yes,
triggered
exactly.
event.
And when this boat crashes, you get an AA gun, which is able to target helicopters in the area or other air vehicles, which really lends a lot of support on these South Islands, which are very difficult to hold. There's not a lot of cover on them except for these small buildings, and even those are destructible, so you never really know if you're going to be safe there, if you're going to be able to hold an island securely. Oh, and you can see here the ship has broken free of the turbine and is now headed straight for the island, which I remember I was watching a player and he was running around on this island yesterday and he didn't notice the ship until just about now. There's a really big foghorn that goes off and he looked over and he was shaking. He was standing there and he was shaking and just running away from this as fast as possible. And as soon as he got free, he survived the entire thing, and he saw this ship come in, crash, destroy this building. Look at these stories in the building just crumbling like that. It's really great how much detail they've been able to get in.
Or Bravo
oh, man.
15. Oh, sad day for you.
Oh man.
She's stuck right there on the edge.
Maybe he's not as big a fan of the destruction anymore.
I wonder if he would accept a revive.
Right there in that position? I don't know, maybe. It's a pretty hot spot right now. It's pretty neat seeing this boat come in right when players are starting to really use this space, because that means that it's really being taken advantage of strategically.
So you mentioned that you have the AA, the anti-air gun that you can use. Now, is that automated or is that controlled by a player?
It is automated. It will automatically shoot at enemies in a certain radius, but then if they're spotted by us or spotted by the other team, then they will have a larger radius where they'll be able to take out those as well. So it really can be very useful. I know a lot of people tend to go around and just shoot other enemies, but if you take the time to spot people that you see and make sure that they're tagged, it'll make a big difference for not only the rest of your teammates, but also the AA gun, which can help turn the tides of battle.
Well, it definitely gives a lot of support there to control that point and maintain that point. So if I'm holding on to C, we're talking in terms of conquest, whenever I'm holding on to C, and whenever I lose it, and the other team, the opposition, the other team actually acquires C point, then now it's their anti-air.
Exactly. So that's why, again, C is a great point for the rest of the South Islands, because it helps you not only control that one island, but the rest of the area, which kind of then becomes your base for taking over the other islands. One of the things that you're seeing here is that the waves are starting to get a lot larger. Even between the islands, you're starting to see that boats can get a height advantage between different areas. So if you're an infantry on land at this point, an area that you might have been able to take cover in before isn't quite as safe now, because the boats are rising up and down with the waves and then able to take you out. It's really cool, because that's more of a timed event as the wave rises and falls, but it's also only available when the weather is at its peak.
Yeah, so one of the things that we kind of look at too here is, we'll get away here for just a moment. This area right here on Paracell Storm, I think this is just flooded with attack boats.
This is true. I usually am one of them.
And I have been too. That's where I actually, I showed it to Frederick, but I went 16-0 before I had to hop back up on the stream.
Only 16-0?
When I had to hop back on the stream.
I see.
So I probably could have kept going, and but again, I was just holding down this point, and then whenever there was a call that was made that I needed to take out another point, I'd shift over there, and then I'd come right back to this.
Yeah, it's really easy to be able to maneuver your way around these smaller islands here while still keeping a good eye on most of the portion of the large map. That's one of the things that you'll notice with this map, is that with the water and the amphibious vehicles, you're able to sort of connect the islands in a much faster way. So if somebody has the bomb, it might not always be best to, say, swim through the water. You might want to run to a point where there's a water vehicle, use that, and then drop it off at the next island.
Let's take a look and see who's playing very effective. Alpha 4 right now.
Oh, let's go take a look at that.
We are with Alpha 4. That's
yes,
why
well, if you have the helicopter on this map, you're bound to do pretty well.
And if you're going to fly well, there's the same things that I've seen as nice pickup.
Oh, it looks like he's about to take the bomb and take it to the next island.
Wow.
That's pretty exciting.
So this is a very educated player as well, immediately hopping out of the heli to pick up the bomb. Again, for those that were wondering, can you pick up a bomb whenever you're within a vehicle? And right here you see that the answer is no. It said Alpha 4 hopped out of the helicopter to be able to pick up that bomb.
Exactly. There is quite a trade-off here between being the bomb carrier and wanting some support from your team, but it doesn't look like this guy needs it right now. He looks like he can take on both the bomb site and still get back to the helicopter in order to protect this base.
Oh, no.
Oh, but his helicopter's been taken out, so that's not really going to be possible.
As now he's trying to be able to stay alive a little bit longer, sitting here right now at 8 health. He does have some teammates to help him out, but the bomb will explode. That's where he actually got taken out. The bomb timer is not that long, but for a really good purpose.
If you look back to the vegetation right now, you'll be able to see that it's being blown by the wind, all by the same wind forces. So the wind is actually a new dynamic system that we've been working with to affect both the particles for the weather, the waves, in what direction they're crashing, and these waves that are crashing up against the rocks, as well as the leaves in all of the vegetation and the grass. Everything that you see is all moving with the same wind force. And that's also the thing that drives the entire lighting and weather change.
It's just something else. There really is nothing that you can say. Everything, I mean, the visuals speak for themselves.
We've also made a big upgrade to our lighting environments, in that in Battlefield 3 we had extremely accurate lighting and shaders, and that was one of the things that we wanted to focus on, making sure that spaces felt real with real sense of volume and shading. And now we've even upped that even more, making sure that surfaces are reflecting and making sure that they have all the properties that you expect. So now it's a much more realistic model. And I think that's one of the other ways that we're really pushing the industry and making sure that we stay at the top of our game as artists, is that we need to make sure that we have this great tech, but we're also using it in a smart way. Oh man.
He just got taken out.
Yeah.
His dog tags have been removed.
There's a really neat new animation in this game for a counter knife mechanic, which I think is really cool. Now,
I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
because I don't like getting counterattacked.
I think I remember I counter knifed you once.
I don't want to know about this. It wasn't a good moment.